Good morning, beautiful people. It is Jynnette The Oracle. Welcome to Oracle Talks. I am joining you from an overcast Southern California, but I'm still joining you today. I'm definitely in a vibe and a flow right now, really chill, really mellow. So yeah, that's going to be the energy of today's sessions. Quick announcements, of course, first and foremost. Next Saturday, is the 2026 astrology planning workshop. So I'm going to be looking at the major themes of the astrology of next year. And yeah, just really getting into the ecosystem and provide some tips and guidance for how to essentially navigate that based off of what may be showing up for you in your personal life, as well as for your business. It's going to be both personal and business for that. So the link is below if you want to join in. And of course, I will make the recording available for purchase later on. So if you can't make it live, you can still get the recording for that. So that is next Saturday. Because that is next Saturday, I will not be here for Oracle Talks. So if you still want to see me, you need to come to the astrology planning workshop, okay? Also, enrollment is open for the 2026 winter cohorts of the group programs, so the Lightworker Incubator and Sovereign. So that is open until December 30th. So you have plenty of time to, look through the material, see the dates for the next year, really sit with yourself, with your ancestors, with spirit, and see if this is something that is really a call for you to join in. When you apply, you will have a chance to chat with me, and we can dive a little bit deeper about the program, and I can answer any questions that you may have that possibly were not answered on the website. So again, that info is also below in the description below for both the Lightworker Incubator, which is the program designed to accelerate your soul ascension process, as well as Sovereign, which is for entrepreneurs who have been in business for at least a year. Okay. Yeah, you have to have been in business for at least a year to join Sovereign. You can be any type of business, whether product-based business, service-based, or both. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's the stipulation specifically for that program. But check those out. Again, if you have any questions, we will connect when you submit an application so that I can chat with you and we can get those questions answered, okay? I'm sipping on a matcha latte. For today, we're going to keep it easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. All right. For those of you old enough to know that saying. So there are lots of different topics that we're swirling around, but I actually just want to see what Spirit has for us today. All right. Of course, as you come in, please say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're joining from in the world, what you might be sipping on beverage-wise, or nibbling on if you're eating something, and how you're feeling, how you're doing. All right. So let us see. Today's session will be short and sweet, I can tell, because I've been in spirit and I'm going to continue to be in spirit. So I won't be spending too much time here on line, but that's okay. That is okay. Welcome to folks coming in. As you come in, again, settle in. You can do some deep breathing, do a short prayer, call in your elevated beneficial ancestors, guardian angels, protectors, etc., to join in to help you get the messages that are for your highest and greatest good as it relates to your life. Some quick astrological updates while the rest of these cards come out. First and foremost, we do have Neptune that has gone direct this week. Thank God. Right? And also Mercury has shifted back into Sagittarius. It's almost done with its post-shadow phase after being retrograde for a while, but it has now recently re-entered into Sagittarius. On Sunday, I believe, Mars does enter into Capricorn, so that also will be a new transit. Currently, obviously, Mars is in Sagittarius. Next week, next Friday specifically, is the new moon in Sagittarius as well. So that's going to be a brand new lunar cycle. This Scorpio cycle has been really, really transformative, very much liberating in terms of helping us to heal, be liberated from deep-seated pains, traumas, unconscious patternings, unconscious attachments, energetic tethers, and then in combination with the North and South Node being square a lot of the transits, but also just this month because of Sagittarius season, a lot of clearing of past life stuff or other soul aspects that just haven't elevated. So it's been very supportive. All right, the initial cards we have out so far are the look at the cards because these cards are different. This is the Strength card in this deck. So that is what is for us to pay attention to and focus on, what's arising. The second card out is the Moon, if I remember. Yeah, this is the Moon card. Next card out is the Two of Wands. And then we have the Three of Wands. Okay. So I'm going to start with these. I'm going to expand this spread. We're going to start with these couple cards first. The spirit or the heart of the message right now is the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. These are interesting cards. They're really, really big, really powerful. Now, one thing I will say is, the major arcana in the way that I work with the cards represent the divine and how the divine is moving or acting or shaping things, shaping reality. Basically that which is outside of our control in our conscious creation. So it's interesting because, we're being told to look at and perceive how this is showing up. This is what actually has to be faced, which is specifically courage. Now this can be courage under fire. This can be courage, like digging into your faith to continue pursuing something that maybe currently has a lot of obstacles or has a lot of resistance around it. It could be courage within yourself to battle your own feelings of, self-doubt, sabotage, whatever, and to continue to push through. But courage is always in pursuit of something or dealing with something that is either oppositional or hindering, because a hindrance doesn't have to be oppositional. It can just be something in the way. So that's what's being called attention to, is like where courage is arising. The action card, though, is the Moon card. So the Moon, being a major arcana, is denoting, again, the divine being here, present, and, pushing this energy forward, rather than this being something that we are initiating ourselves. And this is the action. So this tells me that we collectively right now, or the message that we need to pay attention to right now, is that we are being essentially forced, but really being asked, but forced to um, look at the deeper unconscious, subconscious, and again, possibly past life stuff that is popping up right now. And having the courage to heal, elevate, liberate yourself from whatever this hidden stuff is so that it can, you know, be transformed and removed from being a hindrance. Okay. The fact that this is showing up also means, because it's in an action position, so it's not, it's no longer hidden in the shadows. It is actually being brought to conscious awareness. So as these things get brought to your conscious awareness, one, be grateful for it, but also understand that the importance of this showing up is huge. And it's huge because of the collective influence that we're all under right now, which is the nodes being in Pisces, with the North Node, and Virgo with the South Node. And specifically during this time right now, the predominance of the South Nodal energy, because we are within the 6-month container of the South Node new moon solar eclipse that we had in the fall time in September, I believe. So this is going on. This is in play for us for a while, but in particular, especially right now, with this essential square that the nodes are having with the personal planets, this is being again brought from the unconscious. What spirit is kind of slowly working forward and has brought now to our awareness about whatever this stuff is. And it's going to be very different things for people. But again, at this point in time, you are aware of it. Now, whatever the thing is, it may have various offshoots. There may be various issues that are coming up that you're like, okay, I see that this is something that I can work on, or this is something that, can be healed or elevated, et cetera. There is ultimately going to be a core or fundamental root to these various branches, or trunk rather, to the branches of this tree that is now becoming conscious in our awareness. Okay, so that's deep. Okay. The Two of Wands represents the past energy. Welcome to folks coming in. Please do say hello in the comments. Let me actually say hello. Welcome, welcome. And so the Two of Wands is here in the past energy. So this is something that we have already come to a level of power and control around, or passed over the hump for, right? So with this, the Two of Wands in this deck is denoting power over energy. This can talk about passion, willpower, your own soul power, etc. But that's really what this is referring to. So there's a level of the fact that we're able to address this deep, deep, deep unconscious, subconscious stuff that has popped up, that spirit is bringing to our collective attention, means that we actually do have both the capacity and the capability to deal with it and address it, because of this accumulation of um, internal power. So this is both mental fortitude, emotional equanimity and stability, enough physical stability, because again, that also affects our mind and our emotions. So there's enough stability within our physical life. Even if things aren't ideal, there's stability in the physical life. There's emotional equanimity. You're not as reactive as you usually might be. Mind is much more clear, sharp, perceptive. and your spirit also feels more strengthened. Your heart feels more strengthened. So we are collectively at this place now, which is why we're able to even deal with whatever has been popping up. Welcome, welcome. We got North Carolina in here. Ooh, that sounds good. That pure chrysanthemum tea. Very nice. Very nice. And then our strategy card is the Three of Wands. Okay, Three of Wands. So this is the strategy to take in dealing with the moon energy, which we're being forced to address. So the Three of Wands in this particular card is looking back at where one has come. So again, this can be pattern of behavior, but to be honest, given the nature of these cards and the fact that we have two major arcana and two fire cards out so far, this tells me this is specifically a spirit message, so a soul message. So I am feeling that this is really like a soul aspect, a past life aspect that is essentially needing to be transmuted and fully elevated into the greater soul consciousness. So it's kind of like how like souls can get stuck here on earth and are not able to move on and fully cross over because they have experienced some type of trauma or have a really strong emotional connection, or not able to move on from something, and they stay tethered essentially to a particular place or even to a particular person. It's like that, but it's within our soul itself. So another aspect, whether it's a past life human aspect or whatever incarnational experience the soul has had, but there is one at least that is essentially stuck in the field because it's not able to move on. And it's not that you need to go through and process whatever emotion or thought that aspect has, but that aspect is needing to be liberated, healed, elevated, and ascended to the soul's highest self. Okay, because that's our own internal heaven. Like that does need to happen. Okay. All right, so let's expand this. So I'm going to expand out. This is going to be in a position now of where spirit is protecting the process. So we have these two dragons here at this gate. This is a 10 of Pentacles. This literally feels like the gateway for life and death. So basically, yes, that transitional space, that transitional phase. So there is protection for this process and also guidance and resources for this process to occur. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles. This was the most recent past. So this is what, after our Two of Wands, accumulation of personal power, etc., we got to the Eight of Pentacles, which is the embodiment of that. And the specific actions we've been taking recently to build momentum towards removing those things within ourselves that are keeping us from our highest trajectory path, our dharmic path. So we've already been on that conscious journey. We've been, again, amassing that level of stability and power within ourselves. it's become more rooted, but we've been doing that work specifically and have come to a level of mastery, because the Eight of Pentacles is definitely a level of mastery, which again, we would need to be at in order to address this, which Spirit is bringing to our attention. Okay. Welcome to folks coming in. Please say hello. Let us know where you're joining from, what you're sipping on. In the deep past, we have the 10 of Swords. Now, there's a lot here with this card. This can actually literally talk about the whatever the previous soul aspect was that might be stuck in our energy field. This can also speak more broadly to where we've been in our life. The sense of a previous chapter has closed, and we're also in this in-between space. And being in the in-between is the land of life and death. They're both two sides of the same coin, that space of transition of coming in and going out of. Okay. So that's just been broadly happening overall, which, should make sense. And then we have 8 of Cups. Now, this is the strength that we have. This specifically is speaking to that emotional equanimity. This also speaks to a desire to be more. To be more. And so, again, there's a desire to let go of what we know is getting in the way, as well as being open to the things that we haven't been conscious of that are getting in the way, so that we can pursue more within ourselves, which then subsequently overflows into our life, right? This also talks about a spiritual maturity that is a spiritual maturity and consciousness that actually is aware of the turbulence and the short-term experience of the human life. Said differently, the observer within you is still present and actually louder than it has been in the past. Like this is now strong, and you're able to be above the fray of the tumultuous waters of the human experience. It's not to judge these waters, but being in them versus seeing them from the shore or even in flight, very different experiences. The water is still going to be the water, but very different experiences, right? So this is a strength that we hold right now. Then we have 10 of Cups. So this is the energy that we are sitting in. Beautiful. We are at home with ourselves, right? Past, present, and future. And you see this young dragon here surrounded by all these cups. Past, present, and future, all possibilities here, and all the support here of spirit. And I'm hearing in particular the seraphim supporting. So we're not alone in this. And it's also a reminder that our I, our individual self, is a collective. And then what is opposite to us, the world around us? 4 of Swords. So we have another crypt here with this Four of Swords. This to me right now is feeling like the old timeline that has died, has collapsed. Like there's not even access to it anymore. Which again would be relevant for this past life aspect that might be stuck in our field. In the center here, the new heart of the matter is the Princess of Wands. Which is the empowered soul, soul sovereignty. Oh, okay. What's coming through right now? So remember how I was mentioning with the Ten of Swords here about how we've come to an ending in a lot of ways in all aspects of our life relatively recently, right? There's been a lot of transition for folks, but like a lot of things have absolutely ended, collapsed. We're not able to go back to how things were, et cetera, right? Like that has definitely happened in our lives physically. Also may have been happening spiritually, but definitely physical, mental, emotional, etc. This Four of Swords representing the actual environment was giving me the insight in terms of like the greater timeline, collective timeline collapse, is that this soul aspect that is needing to, and also obviously we'll be in the process of continuing to excavate from our energy field, was also probably, but also being used by you unconsciously to help you navigate, achieve certain or take advantage of certain opportunities, deal with certain obstacles, etc., but help you navigate that old timeline. And because now this collective timeline has actually stopped and ended, all the things associated with that are not part of the new timeline is being presented as the dead thing that is needing to be elevated, to be healed, to be transmuted, to ascend in consciousness, ascend in light. So this part has always been, well, I won't say that. For whatever timeline this was for folks, however long it was, because it's going to be different strokes for different folks within the collective. But for whatever this Four of Wands is for all of us collectively that we've been dealing with, the collapse and finishing of that, the deadening of that, means that those soul aspects that we've been using that are not aligned with, ascended into our self-realization, God realization, soul self, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Ori consciousness, whatever you want to call it, right? Those aspects are what are needing to be and are continually being in the process of removed and elevated. Okay. Now I will say this is also probably tied to the bifurcation that I channeled a couple months ago, the galactic bifurcation and the Earth bifurcation. So that quote unquote splitting and the dropping off of the other timelines, right? So this has been going on for a little while. But this part is being brought to conscious awareness in particular because of this additional added boost that we've been getting from the nodes, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. As well, of course, the sun too. And the galactic center, because we've just been getting blasted with very high dimensional and high vibrational energies. Let me know if this is resonating with folks. Let me know if this is resonating. Interesting. Welcome to new folks who are coming in. Now, this specifically is energy body work. Like I said, this isn't a processing of that soul aspects, emotions, experiences, thoughts, what have you. Like, this is not what that is. This is purely energetic. And the focus actually just continues to have to be on your continued elevation of consciousness and the raising of your vibrational frequency, the healing of your energy body. Again, ascending to higher levels, higher experiences, because that will actually dislodge the energetic connections, the energetic tethers from that soul aspect to this current incarnation. Okay. So go hard on that. On the self elevation thing, because that will aid in the process on your side of things. Spirit will take care of the rest, right? You focus here on your level of things. Spirit will take care of the rest, meaning doing the actual pulling up and transforming and merging into that higher consciousness. But don't run from it with the courage card here. This absolutely will make a huge difference in your experience. As this slowly gets dislodged from your field, now that you're aware of it, you're going to feel the difference in your body. You're going to feel the difference in your heart. You're going to feel the difference in your mind, much clearer mind. You're going to feel the difference just in your energy field in general. And the spaciousness around you, in your mood, is going to be huge. So stay the course with this work of, again, the elevation and ultimately liberation of this stuck past life aspect in the soul. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions. So I think that's really it. It's not going to be or feel easy because, this part's not going to want to go. And for some of you, there may be more than one aspect that is there that is stuck. So it's really just going to depend. But stay the course with this process. I don't know how long it will end up taking because it really, again, is just going to depend on each person. But overall, the removal of the impact of this within you in this life, and again, the ascension of that soul aspect ultimately, um, honestly, shouldn't be going longer than, well, realistically, won't be going longer than the 6 month South Nodal eclipse. But right now, like the support and the energy is there, and this is the message being brought right now. So this is what needs to be focused on, because this is where you'll make the greatest amount of progress. Because the doors are really open. Like this, this 10 of Pentacles in this particular deck is very much like, you know, the veils are thin. So, um, and in particular right now, like the alignment with the galactic center, the support is huge. So as uncomfortable as it can be at times, like honestly, it's so much faster and so much more easily supported in our awareness. Like support is always there, but there are times when just like in general, things are just easier. And this is that time right now. Okay. I think that's all that I have. If there's no other questions. I need to get some water. I was gonna pull another card, but I pulled the wrong decks. I didn't pull the deck that I was wanting to pull. Do I need a closing message though, or is this enough? Oh, okay. So the sooner we do this and get to this, the sooner we'll be able to get to that Aries new beginning energy that we're seeking. So if if the previous, you know, messages weren't motivation, let this be the motivation for you. Like if you want to get to the new beginning, the new start, this is the stuff that needs to actually happen because the dead things can't go into this new space. Like you'll actually be you'll be prevented from being able to access certain things, people, places, things, etc., because of poisons, toxicity, death energy. That's not actually going to be conducive for the new that's being built. So this is the heart of the matter. This Princess of Wands, Aries energy, the new beginning, new life. In order for that to arise, and actually, in order for it to actually be accepted, be able to be received, we have to clear out the things that are not in alignment with that new beginning. And whatever is being cleared out is not going to match up vibrationally with that. And we're going to be delayed. We'll have the experience of delay from the new beginnings. I do want to get a quick thing about the new beginning, the Princess of Wands. It's pretty much all Pentacles now. So new beginnings, Ace of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is the action to take. The Lover's card in the past energy. And then the Knight of Pentacles as our strategy or approach for doing the Two of Pentacles work. And then Nine of Wands right now for the heart of this message. So this new beginning energy, or this new timeline essentially, because so I mean, obviously new timeline is here. There's not and never any type of hard stop or start when we talk about timelines, which can be very different for experiences in our life, right? Because there can be a hard stop, a loss of a job, and a hard beginning, starting a new job experience. When we talk about timelines, that's not the case. It's there is an overlap between the old and the new, and there's a point where the old is able to fully collapse because enough of the new is in place. So these places where we feel like I'm not quite there yet, I'm not quite aligned yet, or this isn't quite what I want, et cetera, et cetera. That first message about the hidden, which is now no longer hidden soul aspect, gunking up our energy field, in addition to the other work that we're doing, it needs to be elevated. This now is about the new timeline that, or rather the full engagement, because this is about fulfillment, the full engagement with that new timeline. So that Two of Pentacles, it's almost like a swapping the old for the new. So this feels like actually the ability for, while we're on this new timeline, as we are in that beginning, is being able to perceive within people, places, and things that we're engaging with, the old that's being swapped out for the new. But in order to do that, we actually have to be able to perceive the new. So we'll be able to perceive the new, to also create and invent the new, and have that as a viable option to replace what was. So the conversion, if you will, is what will be empowered and able to do in this new space. After this work, the soul aspect work has been completed. We'll be able to do this more fully. And again, those places where it's just not working, is all those places. So the past energy with the Lovers. This feels like knowing what has worked in the past, what has been successful. There's something about this though that is catering to other people's opinions, thoughts, society, etc., for validation, for um, success, whatever that is going to mean. So, we've been there, done that. We understand that, but that's not really the vibe that I'm getting here. Yeah, because you can see the difference here. The knight is the one leading, and essentially saying this is where we're going to go. And the knight is at the temple. So it's seeing things from this higher liberated consciousness perspective. This Nine of Wands here is interesting, though, as the heart of the matter, at least initially, because I'm going to expand this as well, just quickly to see. But because this nine is actively in battle. This feels like chaos energy, but it's something that, with the correct perspective, or this elevated perspective, is actually seeing this as an opportunity because it's loosening up things to be able to do the Two of Pentacles. And this doesn't mean everything has to change, just whatever we see as being able to change, being changed. But yeah, this is feeling like chaos, but us perceiving this as something that can be used. So, it's like folks who see opportunity in places where people just see doom and gloom. And not in the I'm saying all this not in an exploitative way, but in an insightful way. Because there's a deeper knowledge and understanding of, and being able to see things that most folks wouldn't be able to see, not because they're not capable of it, but because they might just not have the experience or have invested the time to learn about. And so while on the surface something seems chaotic and disruptive, and not even on the surface, it might actually be chaotic and disruptive for certain folks, depending on the areas that you are being called to do Two of Pentacles work. You're like, oh, yeah, this is happening over here, but this also provides a huge opportunity for something else to step in the gap. Because the chaos that's being created over here is actually leaving the field wide open. And the field over here that's wildly open is also very fertile. And some stuff is actually ready to harvest. Some folks are going to get that. Good evening from London. Hope you're well. Vanilla rooibos tea. Oh, welcome, welcome. And yes, Rorbus had some rooibos the other day. Welcome, welcome. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to expand that. So that's now going to go in the spirit position. So divine chaos. We have the page of pentacles now that's out in the recent past. So again, this is studying this new coin. We have both of these energies here, studying and deciding on the path of change we're going down. I like that. So there is clarity about what the new is. But again, that's something, this process, I feel like this is something we'll be able to do once we complete the soul aspect work I was talking about. This Eight of Pentacles has just shown up. So this literally came in the previous spread. So again, when that work completes, however long it's going to be for each individual person, whether it's one soul aspect or multiple, but when this work completes, because this is the deeper past, then this other work can continue. Our strength is the Justice card. So this is what we can also really lean on and what comes easy to us as we do this Two of Pentacles work. To take advantage of this new path, this new timeline. What's interesting about the image here is that the scales of justice are engraved in the rock, so they're not even moving at this point. They're immovable, and the dragon is literally standing on the rock of justice. So that is the foundation. What this speaks to me of is no longer, whether unconsciously, subconsciously, or consciously, seeking to balance or harmonize with other. Not in an aggressive sense and not in a disregard sense, but in a creator sense. This is holding the line and holding the light. This is being 10 toes down, right? This is planting the anchor. Because the harmony, the justice, the balance that we're standing on, or that we have the power on, is due to alignment with the newer higher trajectory path, which is the path of spirit, which is the path that spirit has a hand in. So all of the balancing of the scales, etc., is handled because that's spirit's job, not ours. All right, so in this new space, we'd be showing up as a Nine of Cups, which is a place and space of, again, spiritual sovereignty and empowerment. Very similar energy of coming home to self, literally turning back to one's own light, one's own self-realization. The dragon is back in the water. The waves are chill, calm, and we're settled into ourselves. And another thing that's coming through, another download with this, is we are getting gifted with the new soul desires for this new timeline. Because the desires for a particular timeline are different, for this new timeline coming up, are different from the timeline that just collapsed. So if you've been like, oh, why haven't I been able to create or birth, this thing I've been trying to do for so long, it's like, well, it's a dead thing. Not, it's a bad thing, it's not a judgment, it's a dead thing. there's new that's arising. And the ability to be open to perceiving that and to not keep holding on to trying to resurrect the dead things is a result of doing that work of the soul aspect that I was talking about earlier. In the environment, we have the Three of Swords. So we went from the Four of Swords to the Three of Swords. So this is now that experience in the external of the actual loss of what was. Okay. The heart of this matter here is the Five of Cups. So this is actually quite interesting. Because what this tells me is that for those who are doing this work, whoever is resonating with this message, you essentially are going to be unfazed by the external chaos, because this is divine chaos. And it is a deeply fertile and creative and innovative time. While the Three of Swords does talk about loss and can have connotations also of betrayal, although that already has been in play, again, obviously, this card also correlates to the truth being seen and a desire to go towards that which is true. All of that is in the Three of Swords. It's a desire to go towards healing, towards balance, towards real truth and power, because you've been exposed to falsity, lies, oppression, abuse, etc. Right? So this work is huge and vitally important, and folks will be gravitating towards that. Okay? I mean, good, bad, and neutral, but folks will be gravitating towards that. But this Five of Cups, 3 cups spilled, which is, that kind of gossipy, getting drunk off your own supply, like just going along to get along, kind of codependent energy, etc. But the Two of Cups being the ones that are lit up. Right underneath that is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. This is an energy of, again, rebuilding. The cups are spilled, but this is active rebuilding. It's not, the dragon isn't just like looking at the cups like, oh, there's 2 cups there. It's actively filling those cups. So while this process is going on, because again, there's no hard stops and starts in these timelines. So this also is going on right now. Okay. Actively building and putting energy into this new as part of that new path. Let's see. I've been feeling so much tension the past couple of weeks in work and relationships, wondering if there's an imminent shift. The timeline and divine chaos aspects definitely resonate. I mean, yeah, for sure. I will say in particular the heightened solar activity that we've been experiencing, because this is currently solar maximum of the current solar cycle, because the sun has solar cycles every 11 years, if I remember correctly, but we're currently in the maximum part of this current cycle. We've just been getting a lot of liberatory energy. I'll say it that way. It's just kind of like been blasting. It's been blasting the stuck places. It's been blasting the dark. It's been blasting, yeah, all of it. And it's been, for many, harder and harder to go along just to get along, understandably. But also, that is something that we do have to watch within ourselves because ultimately it is ego. Because it is distracting us from what it is that we are really to be doing and focused on, and behaviors we don't actually need to be engaged in. Um, this justice card in particular is coming up again about, and this may actually be part of soul aspect stuff for people, especially with the nodes being immutable signs, but not having to be the one that is the transformer. Um, in the typical sense, meaning in the sense where you are trying to change people, places, and things when you haven't been asked to. This is different than just doing your job, right? So, like, do your job. But those places where we are wanting other people to show up differently, behave differently, um, be different and more aligned with how we would prefer. Um, Again, in all contexts, this energy and the collective, that 10 of, what was that card? The 10 of Pentacles from the previous bed is very much giving me the vibe of Spirit is stepping in and has been stepping in as the great transformer. So, Kali energy, like all of the major uh fierce goddess energy has been showing up a lot for folks. Um that's the divine stepping in and doing the work. And it's like you actually can take your hands off and stay in this space and just let things be handled, which, is hard to do, but the divine is and has really been stepping in to do that and will continue to do so, but especially right now, South Node in Virgo time frame. So basically autumn through winter until we get to spring equinox. This has been in play, and it gets amplified in particular with the sun and this galactic alignment. But this is really what's on hand. We don't have to make the change. We actually just have to get ourselves energetically vibrational elevated, really mind our business, do what we are supposed to do because that's our responsibility. But really taking your hand off people, places, and things and letting this, because this is in the divine position, sweep through. And we have to really be out here unfazed by it. Or that's the space that we'll get to after doing this soul aspect work. But yeah, no, I feel you on the tension part because I definitely have been there. Just lots of frustration. Like, why are we like this? Why are we behaving this way? Where, like, we can be better, we can do better. You know better. This doesn't have to be this hard. Why are you pretending like you don't know how to do this? Why are you creating drama, tension, etc. Why are you lying? Trust me, I've been there and in it, right? Um, so as I say this from a place of commiseration. And I also can see and relate just in my own experience, especially like specifically this week in particular. Um, yeah, spirit's just been like, just fall back. Just and I didn't know why. I thought it was mainly built for, personal spiritual development work, which I've been focused on, obviously. But seeing this out now, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is giving that. I don't even want to give this example, but it's the first thing that's popping into mind right now. It's giving the example. This is giving me the reminder about the story in the Bible of the spirit of death going throughout the land and folks like, having to put the blood over the doors and like staying inside because, the spirit was moving through. That's not what this energy is. I've definitely felt that in previous. That's not what this is. Um, but just at a broader kind of like, oh, stay in your own, what's for you to do, your domicile, your jurisdiction, because the spirit, this divine chaos energy, is actually like moving through and doing collective liberation from old timeline, because literally that four of swords from the previous spread, that is a death and destruction, and they transmuting and transforming and elevating that old energy to be reused for the new. So yeah, very much has teeth. Yeah, it's definitely this nine of swords imagery, the vibe that I'm picking up. It's not the softer, liberatory energy of like Neptune and like the celestial waters. This is not that. So yeah, if you've been getting a lot of, big cat energy, tiger, lion, um, again, the fierce goddesses like Kali, like this is Durga. This is the vibe. And it is love. It's not destruction for the case of destruction, but I'm not even getting the word destruction. It just feels like clearing. That's really what it's feeling like. But like clearing, burning down. Yeah, it's just this mother dragon is out here. But that's again why I was saying, like, for this new path that we will have a easier time fully aligning with after we do this soul aspect work, is opportunities that we'll be able to perceive because we have the insight now, because our system essentially isn't being bogged down and hijacked by this old stuff that just needs to go, that was useful for what it was worth for the previous timeline that we were on collectively, but it's actually not conducive for the new timeline, which is why it is being forced out. And it's being forced out because it's being brought to conscious awareness. Once things get brought to conscious awareness, they now shift into that space where we are to take active engagement with. If it's something that's been, if you're concerned and worried about like, oh, what else might be there that I'm not aware of, you don't need to worry about it until spirit brings it to your attention, because it's actually not, it's not a factor until it's being brought to your attention that it is a factor. Okay. But it's only going to be brought to your attention as a factor, as I mentioned in that previous spread, when you're at a place when you can actually deal with it. So spirit is not going to set you up in a position where you can't actually um, deal with the things that you are dealing with, that you are like having to face. You're not just going to be like, you know, here's 1,000 years worth of shit to address. Like that's not, it's not helpful. It's not conducive, and it's actually not relevant for this life. So you don't have to worry about it. So that's why I said previously, you know, when that moon card came up, give thanks, because if it's coming up, the divine is helping, and this is something that we are empowered to release and co-create in the releasing, because eventually it's going to get released anyway. But again, this message is coming through because it's like we have the opportunity as the builders of this new earth, this new world, to actively co-create this process. Okay. All right. Also realizing why I've been returning to the album Red Future by Snotty Your Nose Res Kids. Very much feels like it sits in this burn build energy. I'll definitely have to check it out. All right, so that is our message. Let me just get a closing guidance card and we will bounce. This was going to be a short message, but I decided to be nosy about the future, so this ended up being an hour-long message, but that's okay. If you are new to me, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. It's just because I want to get there. Nothing special that happens, but I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers. So subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video. If you haven't already made a comment, you know, just put a heart or whatever. All of those things help to circulate this within the YouTube ecosystem. Thank you. Thank you. Again, next Saturday is the 2026 astrology workshop. You can sign up for that in the description below. There will not be an Oracle Talks next week, obviously, because I'm doing that workshop. So join in for that. And then enrollment is currently open for the Lightworker Incubator and Sovereign. So the Lightworker Incubator is for accelerating your soul ascension and literally helping you to raise your vibrational frequency, raise your energetic consciousness. Sovereign is for light workers who are in business, regardless of the type of business that you have. That is for you. So check it out. Again, all info is in the description below. Closing message card is Four of Pentacles. What did I say about staying in your lane and the things that you are to address and deal with? There's plenty there. Bottom of the deck is the Magician card. Okay. This is where the focus is. There's a double 4 in here as well. 4 elements here in the Magician and 4 coins here, even though you're sitting on a pile of coins and with a treasure chest. So spirit, mind, emotions, body. That's all individual. That's you. This isn't an 8. It's not with other. This is this is you. Okay. So mind your business and mind your business. Right. Mind your resources as well. You actually have a lot of resources. So invest wisely. I know for this deck, this is not an energy that goes without. It's not a place of lack. There is actually obviously a lot of abundance here. So there are a lot of resources here. And these particular coins are laid out for where we want to place our investment. Okay, so I'm sure you're already doing a lot on other aspects and levels. So the message that came through today was very specifically about spirit. So shifting focus there, possibly. Again, if it hasn't already come up, it probably has, but in case it hasn't, check in with your spirit team and confirm. Now, these 4 points might also be 4 different spirit things to pay attention to as well. It might not be spirit, mind, emotion, body. It might be like 4 spiritual things to explore. I don't know what that is for you, but you'll know. Also, with these two, lastly, because this is stable, regardless of your thoughts about what it could be, but because this is stable right now, this Magician card, which is also a major arcana, is, again, spirit being like, when this isn't an issue, because it's not really an issue, okay? What actually do you create? What opens up? I don't know if you can see there's like a point of light there on the crown. What opens up? What can be created? What happens when you move from a place of intentional investment? Because the energy has to be used, right? It's going to be used regardless. So it's either going to be under your conscious control, or your unconscious is going to do what it wants to do with it. And we're already got the guidance to uproot the unconscious soul aspect that was running things. So now, when this isn't an issue, you're not concerned with accumulating this, because this has already been accumulated. And this is taken care of. Actually, can you accept that at a deeper level, especially as you get liberated? What then is to be created? Because this is very much talking about that Two of Pentacles, switching out the old and the new. What's next? Or actually, a better question might be, what's different? And what's different might just be a settling into, again, standing 10 toes down, another mountain, this one of gold, standing 10 toes down on what you know to be true and not being moved from your position. Because not everything has to change with the Two of Pentacles. It's just a specific thing or things that you might be called to, where you see like, oh, I see an opportunity to shift things. But in other ways, especially for the light workers, so much of what you are and have been bringing through is already part of the new. And you actually just need to stand 10 toes down on it and actually be louder about it and enlist more spirit help specifically to help amplify it. Service is not martyrdom. What happens when we lead with, this is also giving me the vibe of Pisces, Magician to Virgo is Four of Pentacles. What happens when we lead with spirit, our values, the new, the higher timeline? First, and very close second, the material standard, I'll put it that way, as a joint effort, as a joint intention, as a joint hill that you are standing on, rather than one or the other. Does that possibility exist in your mind, or have you convinced yourself it does not? How big is your world? There's some really beautiful energy if y'all will tap into it. I was already speaking about it last week as well in the December zodiac sign messages, but that energy is still here, even in the midst of the apparent foolishness. But this is not an either or thing. It's a both and. So can you have the courage, and from that first message, to decide on that place where the Two of Pentacles is going to hold firm? And I think it is going to happen if you do this diligent work of clearing out and ascending this soul aspect. It's very much possible. Keep me posted in the comments. I'm really curious to see what folks' experience is with this process, whether it's one soul aspect or multiple or what have you. But yeah, we haven't gotten messages around past life stuff and soul aspect stuff for a very, very long time, like over a year, I think, at least here in Oracle Talks that I remember. So again, if it's coming up and we're collectively at this threshold of Pisces and Aries, right? Like, not just with the Neptune, but also with Saturn. And we're already in a new period 9 in Chinese astrology of spirit. So spirit is going to be dominant for these next, 60 years? Y'all, come on. Soul sovereignty for the win. Alrighty. I believe that is it then. So yeah, that's it. I won't do any timestamps because it's really all one big message. So don't expect to see any timestamps on this unless you want to put something in. But other than that, like I said, I will not be here next Saturday. There won't be an Oracle Talks next Saturday because of the 2026 astrology planning workshop. So come to that. It'll be a good way to, again, get an overview for the year. We won't get too granular because it's not helpful. It's hard to remember everything. We're going to stay broad with it, but it will be insightful for sure, if I do say so myself. So come through for that. And yes, come through as well for the incubator and or sovereign, depending on what the call is for you. Okay. And yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. I'm excited. All right, love and loves, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay blessed up. Happy winter solstice in advance, since I want to see you here online. And that's happening on the 21st, one of my favorite times of year, but a wonderful time because it is signaling the time where the sun is going to be increasing its daylight here on the Northern Hemisphere. So we give thanks in advance for that. But yeah, that's going to be a really deeply spiritual time. Please also spend a lot of time with your ancestors. They are coming through very strong. Yeah, I'll be sharing more about that. I'll write a post about it. And obviously I'll be talking to the Lightworker Incubator alumni about it, because we are consistently working, doing ancestral work every lunar cycle. But I will share about that as well too, because they are coming through really strongly, and there's a lot of big support coming through for them right now collectively. So I'll share more about that as well soon. So just check the posts here on the community tab on the channel, okay? But if you have any questions about anything, of course, comment below, or you can visit the website on the contact page, and I'll be happy to connect with you, all right? Much love to you. Oh, the availability next week for sessions has been updated. So if you want to book a one-on-one session before, the end of the year, I will take a week or so off for the holiday season. But before then, if you want to jump in and grab a session before then, or if you want to chat about potentially setting up a one-on-one coaching program with me for the new year, we can have those discussions now while things are kind of like winding down collectively and we're easing into the next year. Okay, so reach out, let me know. But other than that, love to you, and God willing, I will see you in 2 weeks if I don't see you at the astrology workshop. Okay, bye.